Okay, Six Pack Lapadat. Today we got a special podcast, the Asian 57 kilo champion. And I'm going to let you say your name and I'm going to say it after you.
So, namaste. My name is Dr.Sharvari Inamdar.
Dr.Sharvari Inamdar.
That's perfect.
Damn. Oh, wow. I got it the first time. There it is. Usually at the World Championships, I go into the warm-up rooms and I get people to say their names and I write down the pronunciations, like not how it's written, but like how they're supposed to be written, but how it's pronounced. And then I say it over and over in front of them. They're like, "You got it." I'm like, "All right," and I go in.
And I always appreciate your efforts towards that.
Yeah,
Because
I
I've
try.
heard you say and pronounce the names of different nationalities. It's very difficult, I know.
Oh, some of them for sure. Yeah, some of them look like they read nothing like they sound. Like
Yeah,
you read
Russian
it.
and Chinese specifically.
Yeah, but you know what? There's some Eastern European where I'm like, oh my
Yes,
goodness.
yes, yes.
Some of them are huge, long sounding, whatever. And then you'll have like for us, something easy like a John Smith. I'm like, oh wow, okay, I'm getting yeah.
So, like, she's my cat, Chakuntala.
Okay, Chakuntala.
Yes. And my friend calls her Stella because he also finds it difficult to pronounce Shakuntala.
Is your friend from India?
Yes.
And even he.
Sometimes Marathi is difficult for Indians too.
Oh wow, so I don't feel so bad then. I don't feel so
Yes.
bad. It's
Yes.
you know what? So we had some people on. We had two ladies on, one from South Korea and one from Japan. And
Yeah,
they came
I've heard that podcast. It was
yeah,
very nice to hear from the different parts of the world at once.
and exactly. And it was they came on and people had a reception to it because a lot of people don't hear the stories of powerlifting in different regions. And
Yes.
some people were shocked to hear it. And then I was thinking, like, I would like to have somebody on again from a region we haven't had on before to talk about it. What it's like over there. And then I was thinking about it and I'm like, hold up. This is around the time you just won the Asian championships. And I'm seeing these videos of you and you're like, it was crazy. You were on like television shows and radio shows, and like they had like a parade in the streets and they had like a billboard. And I'm like, what is happening over there? This is crazy. And you were telling me the reception you got from winning the Asian championships. And a lot of people in North America and Europe might not realize like what is going on in India for powerlifting, how big it might be to certain regions in India when somebody does well in the Asian championships. People might not know. So I'm like, well, here we are. This will be perfect to bring you on and talk a little about it. And like, obviously, like culturally, it'll be different to like the whole nine. You know, it's always interesting learning about this. And it's so bam, here we are. I reached out. You said, yeah, let's do it. And so we could talk about it a little bit. But
so
sorry, go
so
ahead.
for Indians, we always celebrate very loud. It's never, small kind of a thing. Like whether it's be birthday or wedding for that matter, the ceremony goes on for days and weeks. So
Really?
winning Asian championship at this stage of my life was surprising and very uh, mm, at the bottom of from the bottom of their hearts. My community celebrated for me. It seemed to them that it's their win because they have been with me throughout the journey. And for India, powerlifting is sure for upcoming young game since it started as classic powerlifting districts trial at 2018. So it's fairly new classic powerlifting over here.
Mm.
And technically speaking, who can lift 20 kgs of barbell itself can participate in the district championship. So everybody who goes to the gym understands what are the conditions or what does the weight on the bar means. So when we compare it to the world championship levels, it might be nothing, but for over here, like this, the weight I'm lifting is very huge for boys also,
Mhm.
and girls are getting inspired. Like
Mm.
girls are eager to hit the gym, which is not like basically our culture. We are more into jogging, trekking, cycling, and yoga asanas. So gym exercises is not really the 40 for Indians, but they are enjoying it too. And I'm happy that I'm being the inspiration for the youth.
See, people don't, and we'll get into it a little more, but don't realize like, I mean, like people in your community were like in the streets with flags and like
Ye-
it was wild. Like, I mean, like this
Yes.
isn't, you know, I talk to like people who like win world championships and they come home and I'm like Maria T from Canada, who's 57 kilo. When she
Yes.
won the 57 kilo world championships,
Yes. I,
and
I witnessed that.
yeah, it was
A
amazing.
live stream. Yes.
It was her versus Megan Scanlon from the US. Went right
Yes.
down to the very
And
last deadlift.
and I follow her too. She's being a new mother of two
That's right.
twins.
And she's coming to the worlds as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Yeah.
this year if she wins US
She's doing
Nationals.
pretty well.
Yeah, she's doing phenomenal. But I was asking Maria, like when you came home after you won the world championships, what was it like? And she's like, man, I mean, you know, friends asked me how I did, and but that was it. And I was like, really? And then when I see videos of you, you come home after winning the Asian championships. I mean, no joke. Like people don't understand. People were in the streets with flags and like chanting and yelling, and like there was a crowds of people. You had the gold medals on, and you were walking down the street like it was like Justin Bieber walking down the street, and it was. And then you guys stopped at like a mural of you or something. It was wild. And then after that, you were on like talk shows and stuff. I'm like, you're killing it. You're like you're
So
killing it.
I'll tell you an incident not so long ago, like um, 3 or 4 months before I went for the Asian Championship. So do you remember, Rituparna? We were just having dinner at the hotel, and we had parked our car at a pretty long distance. So we were walking on the street, my footwear in my hand, because I cannot walk with slippers on. I had to
Okay.
have shoes on.
Yeah.
So like a family on the two-wheeler came, and he stopped and he took a U-turn, and he asked me, "Are you Dr. Sharvari Inamdar?" I said, "Yes." And he said that, "I follow you on Facebook and I am your big fan. My
What?
wife watches your YouTube stream regarding diet and Ayurveda stuff." So I've been closely attached with people I don't know since so long, but powerlifting has took me to the whole another level. So I am being a common person, common Indian woman who is emotionally or physically very resemblance with the common Indian person.
Mm.
And I'm still working for the community for past so many years and putting out the content which is useful for the people. So people are bound to what I am doing, like virtually bound to what I am doing. So as I told you, when I won, they felt that it's their win. So they were involved in the process.
Mm.
So that's why it was huge, and not when I returned over here while I was still there. So the amount of people resharing the thing I did over there, and the calls I received, the kind of appreciation I got, I am really humbled, and I was overwhelmed by the response of common people I got to get.
Yeah, it was
So it happened.
the amount of shares you got was crazy. You're reposting, and it was yeah, the reception, and people don't realize like you showed me some videos, the views. What are some of the view counts you were showing me? It was crazy on some of your YouTube and
Like
Facebook videos.
millions.
Millions.
Yes,
It was
like
millions. Like for
millions.
people
Yes,
listening who don't realize
yes.
like
The first
um
video that got viral was immunity boost, like topic of the hour.
yeah.
2 years ago, I guess. So I teach the subject in the medical college, Ayurveda Medical College, preventive and social medicine. So I teach about immunity and vaccines, but I also teach about non-communicable diseases. So diseases like diabetes, pre-diabetes, hypertension were acting as the blowers of the infectious disease itself.
Mm.
So I was trying to let people understand what this all means. And I did that very casually. I didn't know it is going to go viral like just like another videos. But it started, I guess, before that also. But then the workout in the sari blew up the internet. And the other one is that the poem I sung over there in the Istanbul, Turkey. कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. It means that the person whoever works hard, it never goes in vain. The when you are not supposed to be afraid of tides if you're sailing a boat.
Oh shit, that's nice. I like it. Yeah, it's yeah, I've seen like the reception you get in the millions and millions of views all over. Is this, do you know who's watching these? Is it mostly people in India?
Yeah, I guess because we have like 1.4 billion people over here.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah.
mainly, so when I get huge amount of DMs, they are mostly from younger people, like who want to do something with their life, who want to pursue and do hard work, who want to do something positive with their life. And I've been blessed, I can guide them in some way. So like the people of my generation, like they are in their 40s or 50s, they are on Facebook, and the younger ones are on Instagram.
Right.
So I'm able to be in touch with the both the generations. So that might happen because so many people don't know what my age is. Because when I went for his parent teacher meeting once when he was in kindergarten, his teacher asked me, send me your mother next time. So
Oh wow.
why do you need my mother to attend his PTA meeting? So she thought that I am his elder sister.
That's a
And
compliment. That's a compliment right there. You're like, send my mother. She's like 60. Why am I sending my mother? What? Yeah.
And I don't waste any chance to embarrass him. Like
Right.
when he was his 10th post farewell party, mothers were not allowed in the club. They told the security guards outside the gate, said, don't send any mother inside. We are having party. And I went inside like very coolly, and the security
Very
guard didn't even,
coolly.
yeah, didn't even understand that I am his mother. So he was like, why did you even come? If
Oh,
any one of my friend is going to know that, I'm sure in trouble. So I was like, now enjoy. You have a young mother.
yeah. God, yeah, exactly. You got a mom who gets stopped for autographs right now. I also seen you, were you on some kind of a talent show after you won the Asian Nationals as well?
Yes. Yes. So the previous show was called as India's Got Talent,
Yeah,
Indian
yeah.
Idol, Indian Idol, I guess. So they
Okay.
have been pushing me, or asking me to come over the show way before I won the Asian Championships. But I was like, I had to travel to the some another place. I will have to live over there. Then what about my medical practice and the powerlifting practice? So I've been avoiding it for the time.
Yeah.
And when the news broke over there in Istanbul, the coordinator person over there, current Saregamapa Nidhi, she told me, now, ma'am, you have to come. You can't give any excuses because you are going to have some days off after you coming back. And I want you on the show by Tuesday itself. So I returned on Sunday from over there, and I was traveling again for the show on Monday afternoon, I guess. So it was within a fraction of a day or some hours so or so.
It's crazy. So, okay, for people listening, they won't be able to understand because this is crazy how when you say news broke, like news doesn't break for powerlifting, right? Like people win world championships and news doesn't break. And then a TV producers for like our, because we have Canada's Got Talent, America's Got Talent, Canadian Idol, American Idol, whatever. Those TV producers don't contact like, please, please, please come on the show, please.
So,
Like that's crazy.
have you heard that language of money and fame is universal?
money and fame is what? Sorry?
Universal.
Universal?
Everybody understands language of money and fame.
Is that your new single you're dropping this summer?
No. So,
by the way, I got a new song coming out and that's what it's called. I'm like, what do you not do?
no. So the people understand what amount of people you are attached to.
Right.
And I am happy that the language of money and fame is universal, and so the language of emotions and intellect is. So you are not you are not the person who fits into one window or category. So the person has whole multitude of dimensions to him or her with which they can impact the society. And your presence over social media is the power with which you can do wonders. Like if you use it right, because there is so much rubbish on social media, and youth is following so many wrong things under the influence of craze or something. And I wanted to be person like which I want my kids to get raised by looking up to. Like I wanted to live a life which my kids, I would love them to have. So instead of telling them don't follow this kind of thought process or this kind of lifestyle, I wanted to set the example. And there are so many young kids over here. So like I've got mothers who say their kids that you should follow this lady, and they tell their parents that I'm already following her. So like the whole family discusses, which I don't even know about the things I do. So that gets translated over the media. That's what I guess. I still don't know how the whole things work. I get surprised every time the video gets viral. It's mysterious to me. But I also think that the things that happen are happening for the good reasons, and we can make most out of it by doing what we can do.
Do you think so first off, when you were growing up, because you kind of said your age, you didn't necessarily, but but when you were a little girl growing up in India, was there a lot of women doing weightlifting?
So let me tell you about the background in India. Like it has been changing with a rapid pace. But when I was a kid, I've heard many stories of aborting a girl child because girls are not that much wanted as boys in India. Now the picture is changing because boy always takes his father's middle name and surname, patriarchy, what we call as. And desperately parents are in favor of boy child. So the things which women do predominantly 99% of the time is cooking, cleaning, serving, and all the house chores. And it was difficult to see women even driving a four-wheeler. Like their job is to look inside the four walls of the house. And fortunately my mother is also a doctor, and she is very progressive, so she never treated us like that. But I was aware what's going on around me. So I have personally seen all these things when I was a child, as a woman child, as a girl child. And so but strength was never my forte. And I was physically active back then because I had to travel to the other city on bicycle for school. My school is Gnan Prabodhini. I was head girl in 9th standard, and I have always, had that position of power in some case, like with which I can impact the people around me. So when I come for powerlifting, obviously it was it is a male dominated field over here too, like strength kind of thing. And females are supposed to be thin, fragile, beautiful, as you know, as the whole world wants them to be. But when you train with weights, many people over here think that they'll make you look like men,
Yeah.
because of I guess bodybuilding, because it's also been a part of portraying body image. And I have to dive deep to get to the roots of the mental concept. I had to do it for myself, like to tell myself I should get some time off from my economical um, career to put into the effort, because it is self-funded for sports like any other sports in India over here. So I had to put in the effort, mind and energy, while my son was preparing for his MBBS exam. And every competitive exam over here, in fact any part of the world, is tough, like over here too. So I don't know what million billion. So you speak in the terms of million billion, right?
Yeah.
So 1.7 million students sit for the exam, like the exam he appeared for. And if he doesn't score good marks to stay in first 800 students, will we were supposed to pay the fees of $175,000.
Okay. Yeah.
So
1.7 million and only 800 are getting
yeah,
accepted. That's
yeah,
insane.
in
And
the state of,
this is
for
for,
the MBS, I guess you call it MD, right? The course allopathy doctor,
oh,
MBBS, we call
so
it.
he's going to be a doctor.
Yeah.
This is
So
incredibly difficult to get into.
yeah,
1.7 billion and he's got to be 800.
million.
That
Yeah.
is that, and that's what your son's doing?
Yeah, and I told him that you are studying hard, so I
Yeah.
I am able to play in the game of powerlifting and not sitting and studying with you and selling my like whole assets for your education. It means very, it's a huge thing for me and my family.
Yeah.
Uh, so we were both traveling on the path of hard work is a right thing to do, and never shy away from doing hard things. So we both were saying that poem day in day out. It was our, it is our family anthem kind of thing.
And
So
has he taken the test already?
yeah.
Oh,
And he's
he
going
went.
to get admission. That's what I told you. He's going to take admission this week.
Oh,
So
okay.
like it will be in $1,000 or so, like to this low if we get selected. And he's got selected. So my
So if he didn't get selected, you have to pay money?
yeah, like that's what I told you. It's US dollars, 175,000 US dollars.
What? US
Converted to
175,000 if you don't
$5,000.
get it.
Yes.
So what this is, okay, I got this is incredible. Hang on a second. This is crazy. So 1 point whatever million write the test. Only 800 out of almost 2 million people will get in. And everybody
The number
else,
is little bit bigger, but there are so many categories. Like he comes under the category open boys. So open boys have to study hard. They have to come.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't, 100 and something thousand US, that's it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a tough thing to tell your parents.
So that's what I was telling you. The money and fame is universal. So is the intellect and emotion.
Yeah. Wow.
So when you coordinate that.
Whoa, that's pressure to do good.
So the things have been supportive in my family too. And I have been sharing my, as I lose or as I don't get any medals, and I'm sharing my win too. So people are following the story. And as human beings, we always love to hear stories and life stories and life examples. We have born and raised hearing stories about different inspiring people, I guess. So it may be the reason that people know me that much.
Well, I mean, it looks like it's like come down through your family history? If your mom, like I can imagine
So both of my grandfathers were freedom fighters. So as you know, before 1947, we were under British rule.
right.
So our grandparents had to fight for our freedom, and they were from different philosophical background. Like my father's father was from political and brainy kind of thing, and my mother's father was like taking a broom and cleaning the roads and digging the latrines for the common people. So one was from work on it kind of thing, and one was from the background like make people inspire to do certain things. So I'm blessed to have such family background, and I also learned in the school, which is very patriotic in nature. So I wanted to do something for my country, but I didn't know what it really was till this stage. But then you helped me to, I got this. This is Ashok Chakra. And it is given to the players, only to the players which play for nation, like internationals. And I am in open category, and I didn't know when it's going to happen. But when I came to know about the game in 2017, I guess, at that time, equipped and classic trials used to happen in the same arena, in the same category. And I didn't know the difference back then. And I was fascinated by the amount of weight those guys and girls were lifting. I didn't know what I was playing was classic and what they were playing was equipped. And I decided that day, anyways, I'm going to go to the gym because of my husband. It was also a long story. And then this Asian Championship happened.
And when you started going to the gym and started lifting, like how many women?
It was a disaster.
It was a disaster.
Because I had kids at very young age. Like I got married at the age of 20, which is really early for my city. Like in conditions where I live, like average age is 25, 26 for getting married. And I got married against my parents' wishes. So all the ropes were cut by us. So we had to do our education on our own. We have to buy our house. We have to buy a place for our clinic. We had to raise the kids on our own because we, as I said, we cut the ropes very early. And I am from the background of Ayurveda. So yoga abhyas is very close to our hearts. And I used to do yoga abhyas. Started doing, I was very little at that time. Like my mother is also from Ayurveda background. So I was doing that, and I was pretty active to keep my kids active. They had a lot of energy. So I used to take them trekking, bicycle rides, wall climbing, skating, and whatnot. And my energy levels were very low. So one fine morning, my husband said that our younger one is going into the 5th standard, and when the kid goes in the 5th standard, the school starts to have that full time, like 8 a.m. to 2 o'clock. So I had some time for myself in the early morning also. So he told me, let's go to the gym. He is pretty fond of gym exercises since his childhood. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to pay money to lift their weights because my body aches. And I was kind of book nerd back then, like, studying and staying up for myself for studies, and keeping that place in the university where you are a university rank holder. And uh, at the time of our life at stage, we all were going to college. Like I am for UG is undergraduation, my husband for PG, and these were in kindergarten. So we all had to take our bags up and our tiffin ups, and we used to leave house for studying and college and school stuff. And then when I went to the gym, I wasn't able to go on the weight floor. I used to do Zumba, aerobics, yoga asanas. all the things that girls do when they go to the gym for the first time. And then I saw some people doing push-ups and pull-ups. My younger brother is in yoga asanas. He's in Vietnam as yoga instructor currently. He has been world champion for yoga asanas in South Korea, which championship happened in South Korea a while
Oh,
ago.
wow.
And he asked me that you say that you are strong, but you are not able to do any push-up or pull-up. So I like to take up challenges. And I went over there and stand up on, do you know that double bar? We do double bar dips over there.
Dips. Yeah, yeah.
So I went and tried to stand over there on two hands, and it was a disaster. My husband was laughing so hard. Like, I told him, don't laugh. I want to learn this. Will you teach me? He was like, it is going to be hard, and you'll have to come with me to the gym every day. So I started going, and then I came to know about squat, bench, deadlift, and coincidentally went to the competition, and then came to know that it is called as powerlifting. So I started researching, and the content which I guess US guys are putting, and Bryce Krochik from Canada also.
Yeah,
They are
Bryce
putting a
Crotch.
lot of, yeah, Calgary barbell. So I started, and I have already had YouTube channel back then for my patients, like to let them understand what lifestyle means and what non-communicable disorders are.
Mhm.
Like, the things which happen to the people 75% of the time are because of their lifestyle, and lifestyle is not a alien thing. It's what you think, what you eat, what you how many hours do you sleep for, and what you physically do, what your thought process is. It's the whole package is lifestyle, and it's it can be controlled by you. So then I started digging up my own books of Ayurveda again. I sat back in the modern nutrition classes again. I shut down my practice, Ayurveda practice, for a while. I have my Panchakarma center. Like, I don't know how much you know about Ayurveda, but it's science of life in India. It's the
Okay.
oldest science of treatment, like 5,000, 6,000 years
Oh my God.
history.
Wow.
So we have our roots very firm at our brain and our heart. So it was difficult for me to accept the new kind of exercise I am being exposed to. And then our own science is that muscles are for, like, they demonstrate the amount of youth you have. What is geriatric problems cause, senile problems cause? You cannot work, jump, or do your own things. So it's your muscle loss and bone loss. So I had a fair amount of knowledge of anatomy, physiology, pathology, but I had to apply that to improve my mental and physical health. So I thought that if being strong is a basis of health, being a great, the power lifter who can lift as much weight as he or she could might be the epitome of health. So let's play with it. Let's uh, let's see what happens if we deep dive into this. So initially, I had to search for reasons why I should do this. And finally, I found that being strong is never a weakness. For a girl, it's very necessary because it improves their bone density. And when girls pass through hormonal changes from menarche to menopause, or childbirth, um, many a times we see that they are suffering from osteoporosis and muscle weakness and less of strength and postpartum depression and whatnot. So when you want to get that shot of dopamine and you want to get stronger, it's the best practical way you can pursue all that. So I started doing it, and then I met you.
Well, I mean, it's true that like weightlifting is the fountain of life, or fountain of youth. When you see somebody at whatever age older and they're like, "Oh, I can't believe you're that age." It's like, what's the secret? Lift weights. Lift
Yeah, and
weights. You
eat
will
right.
age better.
And eat right, because I have
Any
seen
right, yeah.
many powerlifters who eat whatever rubbish they can eat under the name of powerlifting. I have to carb load or carb up.
Right. This is true. Yeah. When you first started powerlifting, and you seen there's like powerlifting championships and you got involved, who did you start? Did you start following people, following powerlifters and investigating who's who? And who was it that you found?
So like initially on YouTube, it was whole lot of different people, like Untamed Strength, um, Alan Thral,
Okay,
then
yeah.
Mark Ripto, Mark Bell, and the random people who are like followed for weight training kind of thing. But as I got to know about powerlifting, then I started to cut short the list to powerlifting focus channels like Russell Orihi's coach, Joyflex. He
Joey
put out,
Flex. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Joey
he put
Flex.
out so much valuable content on audio YouTube kind of stuff. And then obviously Form Check Fridays from Bryce Krocek, David Wilson. Earlier than that, Garrett Blevins. He used to put kind of good stuff over there. And I came to know about all the forms and techniques while looking at their YouTube channels and their Instagram channels. And back then, programming was not a thing. Right now, many kids are doing programming and copying or taking programs from so many people. But I was like, back then it was not that much of a deal. Like you go to the gym, you hit the maximum weight, you max out every time you go to the gym,
Right.
and it is the recipe for injuries. So I have seen 90 years of powerlifters lifting in the competitions. So if you want to survive and be there and perform for the longest period of your time, you need to have some kind of schedule. But I didn't know what to do, who to approach, and what else I can do better so that I can be better than I used to be. So I stopped looking at the competitors and I started looking up to the lifters I want to become like. So just like the kids do. And it, kept the kid inside me alive. So
Right.
I didn't know. I didn't know I was able to do all these things until I bumped into the powerlifting.
It's crazy. I think it's going to be crazy for these people you named, like Joey Flex, Bryce Krocek, David Wilson, for them to know. They don't even know that like there could be women in India on the other side of the world, totally different culture and everything, who are watching their videos, listening to the audio and like taking from it and like
so
learning from
the first woman I came to know who is into powerlifting and had 2 kids was Marisa Inda.
Yeah. Strong Mom. She had a podcast called Strong Mom for a little while.
So like I don't listen to podcasts that much. I have only Spotify with me because I want to listen to your King of Lifts podcast.
Well,
so
thank
I'll
you
go
very
and
much.
follow her too.
Yeah. She's good. Yeah, it's crazy how like social media can bring us that. If you get into something, you could find your niche,
and I always find it fascinating whenever Heather Corner points out that hater and reveals his all dirty deeds and the rage with which she is filled with.
What's that? Who's this?
Heather Corner.
Yeah.
47 kg.
Yeah.
She's a tiny, what we call a tiny bomb.
Yeah, she's
and now 40, the Tiffany.
And now Turbo Tiff.
Yeah.
Shooters. Francis Shooters. That's right. France got Shooters, Turbo Tiff.
So is Laya.
And they'll be going head to head at the IPF World Championships. Those two, which is going to be absolutely
interesting. Yeah.
I don't know who's going to win that. It's so close.
We enjoyed that match of Daniela and Amanda. Like 13.5 kg. Yeah, 2019, I guess.
2019. Yes. And like that's probably the closest equivalent is Amanda Lawrence and Daniela Mello at the World Championship.
And it has story and spice behind it.
Same.
So we enjoy.
Right. It was story and spice for sure. So we enjoy. That's right. We like a good spicy story. In terms of So first off, not to move too fast along the story. So when you first started powerlifting and now you're lifting weights, did you realize, because you were already like a doctor, you were already putting out content for nutrition and lifestyle and stuff like that. Did you realize when you started weightlifting what this might become? Or did you just, and especially when you started competing, what it might become for you? Or did that just kind of happen over time?
So I had no idea like where it is going to take me, but I wanted to become strongest possible me, but I didn't want to get fat.
Yeah, that's honest. That's honest.
And many people told me that if you want to increase weight on the bar, you'll have to gain body weight. So I was like, I teach people how to be lean. I used to run marathons,
Oh,
but I had, like, because of my husband himself, he was into running and cycling also, and
yeah.
I used to hate that. But I went for my first 21 kilometer and I stood fourth over there, Pune International Marathon, what we call as. And I have seen many people who run marathons and ultra marathons, and they have that belly pouch, like um, huge fatty body with them, despite of doing so many efforts to keep those calories off. But um, being a doctor helped me in powerlifting, and being a powerlifter helped me in my medical practice.
Right.
So like I wanted to gain lean body mass, and I knew what basic physiology works, like calories in calories out doesn't work always 10% in the human body, because it's a rule of 25-75. 25% of the time you're able to metabolize all the wheat and rice you're eating as carbs, and 75% of the times you have that family history of metabolic disorders like blood pressure, obesity, diabetes, heart disease, cancer, and whatnot. So you are compromised on the level of calories which come from wheat and rice. So as a human beings, class 1 protein and good quality fat is very necessary to build each and every cell of the human body. And what amount of wheat and rice you can eat totally depends on what kind of genes you were got. And nobody thinks about that, and they only focus on calories in and calories out. So
Hmm.
I was already teaching people how to eat right so that they can reduce their dose of medicine or stop taking medicines for the diseases which are created by diet or lifestyle. And I come to know about powerlifting, then I started applying that thing, particularly 100% on myself. So I got to look younger and toned and muscular, and it impacted both the things I was doing. So I was like, I was putting in the effort via expecting nothing from the game. Like literally, I wanted to pursue is because I wanted to pursue. I wasn't expecting anything. And all these things happened. So like nature was with me.
Isn't it what that's what life is like though? When you
Yeah.
take on new challenges and walk through those doors and do the path less taken, that's what happens. In like I saw news crews were showing up at your gym in videos of you, and it went like nationwide, which is like you got a massive
So
nation.
that's what they were calling me, like trendsetter or breaking stereotypes.
Right.
So I was not aware that I was doing that initially, but then I thought of my previous life and the conditions around me, and uh, the youth and the females are going through the period, and I can give them a ray of hope that if you put your mind to it, your gender, your background, your economic status, the kind of clothes you wear, the language you speak, it all doesn't really matter. If you want to do something, you should pursue it wholeheartedly.
Mm.
Don't think about what other people are saying, because it is going to take you nowhere. People are there to talk, and that's why like my age was the plus factor for me. I was able to handle the negativity very positively.
Was there a lot of
So
negativity? Like, did people? There must have been.
yes, it's a basic human nature. When there is
Right.
a lot of positivity around and one person talks or comments anything negative, you are going to focus on that because it's your survival instinct.
Right.
And I wasn't in favor of concentrating on the negativity since childhood. Like people are there to tease you, to drag you down. But
Mhm.
if you worry about them and their opinions, when are you going to progress in your life? So Indian like Bhagavad Gita mentality and philosophy helped me survive and grow through all that. Like put in the effort, don't look at the outcome. So enjoy the process. Process oriented people are happier than the outcome oriented ones. So you have to put a goal in front of your vision board, like the secret or law of attraction says. That's what is said in our granthas too. So the world is round, I guess.
The world is round. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So when you told me that you have to pass this torch on, we have to do something for our sport, and I have already been doing that. So I have been motivating strong guys and girls to take part in the competition and not to worry about the kind of medal they are going to win or not. Otherwise they are going to do exercises, so they had to put them the things they are doing out there. They don't have to be secretive what they are doing in their life, because the bad things are portrayed very loudly on social media, and good things are not displayed those much. So why to be shy? Let's put it out there. One person is going to get motivated by that, and he's going to do that one good deed to the person who is close to him or her, just like you did for me.
For people who
So
don't know, like
passing on the torch.
yeah, like for people you don't know, when it was like 2 years ago, when you were saying
Yes,
this, and
yes,
you
and the lockdown happened in the month of March 2020.
right, and you we were talking in DMs, and you were saying you didn't. I don't think you had somebody programming for you or something like that. And
Yes.
I had previously had like a team programming, but since Kingless took off, I stopped taking on people and only had Kafwe. And I was programming for him, and he was like Canadian national champion, winning or breaking world records and stuff at IPF Worlds. And I was like, I remember saying, like, that's it, because like I was so busy with like King of Lifts. I'm like, I'm done with training and programming, and I'm just gonna focus on that and like blowing up King of Lifts as much as possible. And
You know,
then
I have found some YouTube videos of yours too.
yeah,
Like way back, like it's 2014, 2015, I guess, and it was pretty helpful. And I enjoyed your Master 183 kg match 2019.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
want you to see compete again. I'm waiting,
Yeah.
yeah, eagerly waiting for you to compete.
So what I
Sorry for disturbing you.
no worries, no worries, no worries. So when I started giving you we started talking, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna start giving you some programs, because you're like, we don't have a whole lot over here. And I'm like, all right, see if this works out and we'll see. And this is 2 years ago. And you were like, I don't know why I have nothing to give you. And I was like, just pass it on to somebody else. Somebody's gonna come to you and
Yes.
in the same situation, and they're gonna need some help, some guidance or whatever. And it's like, we call it over here, pay it forward. I don't know if you
Yes.
guys, you're right. So
Yes. Yes.
that's called paying it forward. It's better than money. It's better than,
Yes.
it's a good deed. So
Yes.
I'll do a good deed. And then at some point you turn around, and for no reason to no one else, just for the sake of a good deed, you can pass it on to them. And then,
Yes.
so then when this happens and I see these videos and everything going on over there in India, I'm like, holy smokes, I picked the right one. Right? I picked the right girl. You did it. You made me proud. Wow. You definitely
So
passed it on.
that was the only thing I said you previously also. Like I'm going to make you proud, sir, with my efforts. I don't know what the outcome is going to be, but I've always believed in the power of giving your best to it.
Mhm.
So I'll not be criticized by having less efforts. I
Right.
don't care if I get medal or not. And that has been my philosophy since childhood. So my mother has taught me that always do your best and leave the rest. So paying it forward and passing on the torch is in our blood. Like we all believe that. And I was surprised the kind of words you said to me. Like every time something happened or my hip started acting up and I went through injuries, we manipulated the kind of programs and workload we were doing. But I'm happy that I never missed the workout for any reason, and I used to keep you posted every day.
Yeah.
And I am kind of addicted to liking you, liking it back on the Instagram. And we didn't meet in person till day, but I, in my head, you are there, you are here with us every day at fitness sport, training with us, like with our group. So everybody in our group knows about you. We at least talk about you working of lifts at least once a day. So you're here, you're here with us.
I was telling people how like life is funny. You don't know how these relationships all of a sudden come out of nowhere where you're just like lockdowns coming. And I remember walking with Kathleen
It
at
was
the park.
very heartbreaking and heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
But, yeah, non-activity and kind of, it was very most hard period in the life for the whole humanity. Like we have lost our near and dear ones, but still in my head I was like, my competitor is practicing somewhere else and I'm sitting at home putting my boy on my shoulder.
Yeah, I've seen those videos. Yeah, it was I was telling Kathleen, I was like, man, I don't know how it ended up happening, but I'm training a lady in India now. And he said, I thought you weren't taking anybody else on. I'm like, I didn't think so either, but this just happened. And then, yeah, you would send me videos daily and I would, and I know what you mean. You were like, if I check those, it's like a bit of like accountability. It's a bit of, someone's checking. There's something about having to check in, right? When you know, like, all right, this person's giving me programming, just giving it to me, just to give it to me to make something happen on the belief that I'm going to do something and then achieve something and then pay it forward. So then there's like some responsibility, some accountability. So when someone checks in,
you were speaking my language to me, and that through DMs, and we have never met. So that was the best part of it. The things I used to say on YouTube or to my kids, you were saying those things to me. And that was very, I was touched by all those things.
Yeah, I didn't even know. I'm just sometimes look at mental, and it's weird because yeah, I'd never met you. And I didn't know if I would ever meet you. But I know how hard the training could get. Was you had some crazy volume blocks. I remember telling you initially, I'm like, what you're about to do is going to be very difficult, very difficult. It's going to take a lot. And you're like,
some days I used to think that, why am I not dead yet? I'm still alive.
When you came back, I was like, you're still alive? I was like, what? I thought I killed you. But yeah, no, it was extremely tough. And I remember sometimes you were like, yeah, this is tough, but the body's hurt, whatever. And I was like, this is the push. I would give you just little tidbits, just a little bit, not too much, but just enough to be like, this is the grind. This is when we march towards it. And I was calling you the Indian Lion and like stuff like that. Like your email is called the Indian Lion Roars. And that's the block. The block had a name called the Indian Lion Roars. And there you go. And it'd be like, all right, here it is. Like you got to get your mind right. A lot of it is mental, like physical for sure. But with powerlifting, because you're doing the same thing over and over, it's monotonous. And it so wears you down that mentally it's tough to keep going and keep doing it. Did you have people in India who were also training alongside you for as long? Because some of your training sessions were crazy.
So a lot of times my friends used to accompany me, and they were like, ma'am, you are training a lot and a lot harder than we used to see. We are drained by seeing you train this long. So I had to train, and then I had to go to the clinic and attend to all the patients. But the positive part was, earlier I had to attend to the patients who came crying to me. Now, the people who want to enhance their health or they are into any sports background, they are also coming to me. So I uh, can see some happy faces too.
Right.
So it was a relief. And when my hip started acting up, I was like, now it's all done for me. I don't know if I will be able to do any powerlifting stuff anymore. But then I thought to myself, what does any athlete needs? Like, he needs a good doctor, good mentor, a physiotherapist, uh, psychologist, like,
Right.
who will train you with your mind. So half of the things my husband was doing for me, you were there like a lighthouse. I was accountable to send to you the things I did, and I want to come through that injury part. And my kids were there to support me, and my friends were there. They were like, we think that we are playing for our nation and we are with you. So you don't need to worry about. Lockdown happened multiple times at our place. So there were times like I was alone in the gym, like nobody else. And my gym kept it open for me, only
Holy
me.
smokes,
That
really?
that happened, huh? That happened, I guess, second or third lockdown. So I was pushed through that phase because fitness sport helped me through pass through that period. So initially I didn't have any standard equipment, standard barbells with knurling, but fitness sport put it out all together. Now we are powerlifting gym, so we have branded barbells and plates, powerlifting plates with us. So people are coming from very far away destinations to travel long ways to come to our gym, and we are proud of it.
It's crazy how it works, man. And yeah, you ended up, I forget what your, like, you put in a crazy amount of work on open powerlifting. You were 317.5 kilo
Point 0.5,
total,
yes,
and then you're
2019.
350 now. So the hard work
Yes.
pays off. But the
Yeah.
thing is,
So I
like,
started with 205 kg total. So it
yes,
was almost impossible for me to put on those kgs because it seemed crazy at that time. And it's always said that it seems impossible unless it's done.
it,
So
it,
those quotes.
it's just you put in so much, the hours, like the program was so crazy intensive. I wasn't sure. I remember I was like, I don't know too much of your background. Hopefully you can handle this. And your
So
heart
I
was
was like
insane.
working on 14 to 15 hours day for some days. So I
Oh,
shifted those high volume days on my off days, like Sunday or Thursday, I guess. And then I took some time off from my college work also, like written application.
yeah.
So I'm preparing for this one and I need my time for this one. So I didn't leave any reasons so that nobody can tell me that you represented India and you were at loss because you didn't put any efforts, and you gave reasons that, I am a mother, I have to attend to house chores, I have to attend to patients. No, because we have that quote written on our t-shirts, I am never lies. So
Iron never lies. That's
yeah,
true.
it shows you your place. It will never move from its place if you have not putting any efforts to lift towards lifting it up. So I was like, I have to be 100% on my efforts for my kids, for my family, for my friends, for you, and for India.
Right.
I was like, these many people are rooting for me. So I don't know what the future holds, but training with weights is going to be part of my life forever, I guess. It
It, it
changed my life,
it's
changed my
true.
perspective towards my patients, treating my patients. So, like, do you know Ben Bickman? Or Joe Rogan for himself is
Yeah,
putting
yeah.
out some good content. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So there are so many people who think alike. For that matter, Tim Noakes, The Magic Pill. You should watch that documentary too. It's very good if you want to live long, healthy life.
It's true in terms of like the iron never lies, where because gravity's gravity. Gravity doesn't care. Gravity,
Yeah.
you work 14 hours, gravity doesn't care. There's no concessions. You're tired. your hips sore, you got 2 kids. Gravity's like, I am what I am every single day. I don't care. It will not lie. You either, so you figure it out. You adjust, gravity will not. So that is where it teaches you, like powerlifting, like people are like, oh, what can you learn from powerlifting? Powerlifting teaches you discipline. It teaches you
Yes.
consistency. It teaches you
Yes.
that, like, and this has been tossed around a lot lately,
The importance of ritual. It teaches
rituals.
you going in, yeah, going in every day, putting in the effort every day. Every day is not going to be the same. You're not going to be at your highest level every day. You have to face that day with enthusiasm, though you are at the low level of your bodily energy or your mental state or whatever it is. Like, that's why that video came out. You have to attend to different functions. You have to go there, show up, put a smile, nice smile on your face if you, though your hip is paining a lot,
Yeah.
and in your head you are in the gym, like putting in the work. That's why that video came of working out in the sari. Like, I
Yeah.
have to put it on, and then I have to attend all those functions, and in my head, like, I don't want to miss my workout today by any means, or to change my diet routine for the sake of anybody else, because that iron is not going to lie to me any day soon.
Yeah. And how long were some of those workouts?
I guess SPT days were as long as 5 hours.
Oh, see what I'm saying?
Counting the rest in between the sets. Have you
Right.
seen that video where I'm sleeping in front of the squat rack with the blanket on, and my husband is giving
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
fan?
Yeah.
That is a life of true powerlifter when it comes to SBD day.
Right. And it's crazy. People don't know how hard you, so when they hear like the gains you made and then the kilos you put on your total, which, and it's like, oh, I want to do that. But that's the easy, it's like you said, that's the end, but the destination, that's the destination. But the journey to get that is, you got to love it, because the amount of
So
hours you're going to put in is insane.
yeah. So when I decided to play powerlifting competitively, I told you that I had 205 kg total with me. So we had a long discussion in the family that how we are going to pursue all that, because it seems that I'm going and lifting alone on the platform, but it's not so. It's not a solo game. It's a team game. We all know that. So many people are involved in the process, and they are with you behind the curtains every time you go on the platform and lift. So as I say, putting in the efforts is in your hands. I guess I forgot what I wanted to say, but I tell my female friends, the way you talked about the gravity. Um, in space, astronauts suffer low bone density, right?
Yep.
Because they don't have gravity with them, and they get osteoporosis. But we live on Earth, and so many people have osteoporosis because they are not lifting enough, and they are not having good food. So I have heard you say in some podcasts, nobody comes into powerlifting to get healthy, and I did, and I did come to powerlifting for getting healthy.
Right.
So
Well, I
like,
mean, yeah, it's true. Yeah. You're breaking more stereotypes, right?
so it's your friend. So getting better at lifting weights and gaining strength is a blessing, I guess.
It can impact your life, and we're talking about what it
Yeah, it
teaches you.
enhances you mentally also, your mood. It gives you that shot of dopamine every time you hit that uh, workout in the gym.
And
So
it gets the
sometimes
angst
you
out.
feel depleted. It's going to happen,
Yeah.
but most of the times it's fun.
It also teaches you, um, people overestimate what they could do in a short period of time. People
Mhm.
overestimate what they could do in a month. And
Mhm.
if they go all out, like if I go all out, what can I do in a month? You could do 5 hours, like you were doing 5 hour sessions. Like not every session was 5 hours, but that was like near the end of peaking. But even if you do 2 to 3 hours, even if you do 3 hours a day for 5 days of the week, in a month, you can only do so much. However, so people overestimate what you can do in a month, but they underestimate what you can do in a
It's
year.
not It's not a multiplication or math, because body has its own physiology and it doesn't understand maths.
Well, that's true. Even some people, sometimes even the brain doesn't understand it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so but they underestimate, like, when you have the long term, what you can do might be like way further. So when you were at 200 kilo, maybe you would have thought, oh, like the gains might come quick. So you might think in a month you'll
No,
be.
no, 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 no. I thought it very hard, and I knew that it is going to be hard. I knew at my heart, because I was
Really?
struggling to put those 200 on the total. And but then I thought to myself, I didn't come to this part chasing easy. Everything I did till that the day was crazy for other people.
Yeah.
Why not take some crazy shit again for like for the for the further development? So I said at that time it's going to be a 5-year plan. I don't know, and 4 years happened this year. So I started in 2017, 2018, 2018. So I decided to play the sport competitively in 2018,
Mm.
18, 19, 2020. So it has been, I have still one more to go to give it my all. I'm going to do it for the rest of my life. But let's see what the fifth year brings.
And is it crazy? I mean, I can't believe when all this happened and the news is showing up and doing news stories about you. And like TV producers, after you win the Asians championships, are like, you have to come on the show, please. And it's the Got Talent show for India, which, and it's crazy to me. And the whole nine, like, is it, where do you go from here? What are your new goals? You just keep pushing and keep.
That's what I told you. I don't know what the future holds, but I'm not going to stop talking about pursuing a good lifestyle
Mm,
that I have been doing sort of whole my life. And I have been teaching my mother, like my friends, and some younger kids to lift weights and to have discipline in the life. Because for past 2 years, the kids have been inactive the most whole their life. We
right,
don't have a concept of online schooling, didn't have for like up to the past the COVID thing happened.
right,
But now everybody is sitting online and nobody is physically active. And from this one to the older ones, they are binge eating, and it is causing them to go through uh, variety of disorders and diseases. So I'm going to do that. Then I want to come and play in world championships and meet you. That is on the list. I don't know when that's going to happen, but I'm not going to stop at least till then, playing competitively. And I guess I still want to do so many things, and life is ahead of me.
It is. And this is, and you never know what's around the corner. I mean, it
Yes.
seems like like, imagine you win another Asian championships, you keep winning titles, you see all these doors opening, and who's going to walk into your life? And all of a sudden now you're mentoring them with this. Like in your
Mhm.
gym, how many more powerlifters are there since when you first started?
I want to tell you, when I initially went for the powerlifting meet, like we have 1.4 billion people in whole India. But in Maharashtra, we have like population of, we talks in the language of crores, I guess. So it's 130 million people
Oh,
who
well,
speak Marathi language. So we are a state of Maharashtra, which is bigger than some of European countries.
yeah.
So we have Pune district match. The winner gets selected for Maharashtra state match and then national. So 30 people, 25 to 30 people were there for the first district championship. And for the last championship, district championship, it was 175 people for
Oh,
classic.
wow.
And for nationals, it is more than 1200 people. So it is more than double of a number than equipped one. So classic is gaining a lot popularity over here. And like any other country or sport, um, there are not much government or sponsor facilities for the game, but once you achieve a standard level like international or something, you get offered many job and sponsorships and advertisement kind of stuffs and collabs and all the things. So uh, putting in some glamour to the game is always beneficial for the game, and that's why I have been advocating like classic powerlifting, and people should come and do it, because when the game grows, the good part of it reaches to the root level. So I want that, and I'm very thankful to you that you are speaking a lot about keeping this like putting in this game into the Olympics, because so many people over here also think that if the game is not in Olympics, then it is not that much of a bigger game. But then
Right.
those people are followers of cricket. Like it is huge in India. Like they earn more than even US film stars. So when you pursue something and when it appeals to masses, it doesn't actually matter if it is in Olympics or not. But being in Olympics helps that sports person, and if he wants to pursue it as a career. So I have heard you talk about this a lot, and I'm thankful to you for that.
Yeah, no worries.
Like, you're doing great for the game.
Thank you. And well, a couple things that you said there that I want to ask you about. Well, first off, in terms of getting more people in India into powerlifting, you winning the Asian championships and then being on TV, being on these podcasts, being on
so
these
many people want
shows.
to do that.
Now people like, and then being on like the Got Talent shows, like these TV producers are like, you got to come on, and people over here don't realize all the stuff that was happening over there in India after you won, like the parades and everything. Now, anyone who sees that, any guy or girl in the gym or in any of the gyms or watching the television or listening to that radio show will be like, I want, like, if you're,
anyways, those kids call me mom or ma'am. Now they call me mom or goddess of powerlifting.
Oh, wow.
And they are like, bless us, ma.
Oh my God. See, it's a lot to live up to, but it is, that is how, like, you get people wanting to get involved. It's more and more, and that's why it's great that the local media, and like not just local media, I mean the national media,
the news went viral over to whole, like all over the country. Like I felt, I didn't know how that happened, but I'm humbled and I'm grateful for all those things those happened. Like national telecast, national TV broadcasted the news on multiple medias. I didn't even knew a few of them. Friends, family, and let me tell you, the people who live across the world, like into another countries, like for Canada, New Zealand, Australia, UK, US, South Africa for that matter, they are also contacting, and they are feeling that pride for India, like somebody from India is doing like that on the international platform, that through not from the sports background at initial stage of the life. So I was like, I'm representing so many people, and so many people are attached to me emotionally. So I'll have to live up to their expectations and not give the reasons. I think that was the reason I was able to push through all those hard times. Like I have to do it for them.
It's got to be tough, right? When you go there and you're competing with that kind of pressure, where you're like, holy smokes, a lot of people are paying attention now. Like you had national news, and this is a nation of like 1.4 billion. So it's like, it's huge, coming to your gym when you're preparing for the Asian championships and stuff. So when you show up and, you're giving speeches and stuff like that, like afterwards, like it's crazy what's happening, but there must've been a lot of pressure. Were you ever like the night before, like, oh my God, this is a lot?
Actually, I told everybody, if I'm going to win, it's going to be yours. If I'm going to lose, I am not going to stop. It's on me, and I'm going to prepare it till the day I achieve something that you guys like. So don't keep that pressure on me. either I win or lose, I'm not going to stop. So just don't act like that this is going to be the end of the world.
Yeah, yeah.
It's going to happen again, and I'm not going to stop till the day I do it. So it was initially, it was very hard for the first 3 or 4 years, because some of my friends, they were going internationally, like some of master players. So I did train my mother also for that thing, for Kazakhstan Asian Championship.
Oh,
And
wow.
so many. So she plays in master 3 category. Earlier 72 kg weight class, which got split this year.
Right.
Like she's playing 69 here onwards. And we are being sitting in the same boat ever since. And we are happy.
Your mom is a master 3
Yeah.
representing India. This is adorable. I can't believe this. This is
So I guess I've sent you her video training, giving me that bench press handoff. She has a small gym set up at her home. She lives in a small town, so she has her own hospital and clinic. So one room she has transferred into the home gym. So during the pandemic happening, she was not able to go out and train, and she had that luxury of space with her. So I went to her place for some days because I could not train over here. And that video, you laughed at it very much. I lifted her and did squats over there. You remember? I guess you remember that video.
I would think, like, in India, a woman of her generation competing in powerlifting, it must be unheard of.
So we have a saying over here: when a girl gets out and tries to do something, she lifts her family and society up. So I guess that's the essence, because as girls, we are blessed to have emotional attachments more than boys. I don't want to say that boys are less emotional, but that is to our advantage, because we are mothers at heart, and we have that basic motherly instinct. We want all to progress with each other. So I guess that helped me.
I guess so. I mean, you're definitely reaching a lot of people now and impacting a lot of people. And particularly the sport growing in a country as big as Asia is good for all of powerlifting, right? If we could just tap into some of that at those athletes. I was shocked when you said some of the cricket players in India are that big, where they're like making more than movie stars over here. But I guess it makes sense when you have 1.4 billion people in India, living in India. If you get big in India, that's it. Like it's just the market is absolutely massive.
That's why I told you the language of money and fame is universal.
Right.
So now you understand what I was saying.
Right. Yeah.
So use it for right reasons.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. If you make it
that's
big,
in our hand.
If you make it big in India, it's big. Yes. Like if you go viral in India, it's big viral. And it's like, because it's so many people over there. It's interesting.
So you get viral by luck or by fluke, I guess, but it's up to you what you are going to make out of it. And I know the responsibility, and I'm working on that. I know it's a huge responsibility, but I'm not shying away from putting in the work. Yeah. I know on the bigger platform, like world platform, it's just a grain of salt or the drop of water in the ocean. But when it comes to giving it to the society, that drop can also mean a lot. I know the value of doing something good if you can.
Right.
So not shying away from it.
Right. And everybody appreciates the underdog and the hard worker. You know what I mean? Like it means a lot. Everybody identifies with that person who's like, I found it. I found a sport. I started putting in, like, all I had was work. That's all I was promised is hard work. And then this is what I'm getting out of it now at the other side. People identify with that, like hard work, where it's not like, look, I'm not Maria T built for powerlifting. Maria T is built for powerlifting, right?
Yes.
And it's
her
like
height and her stretcher,
right?
Her everything. Way of squatting,
right? Exactly. Where it's like, I'm not built like that, but I found it. and I'm working, I'm putting in crazy amount of hours and let's see what happens. And then when they hear about a journey like this, where it's like, oh, wow, okay, that a lot more people
So
can identify with.
we are also fan of Taylor Atwood, and he also puts in effort, but very silently. He's not like sometimes he put out vocal subtitles
Yeah.
or crazy sentences over there on social media, but we see Russell Overy always enjoying the process,
Right.
and that's why it hits and appeal people. Those two are the legends, and we enjoy watching them, but they are of different stream. By their whole basic nature is different, but there is always a different personality to different person, and what people are getting appealed by, we never know.
Right. It's crazy how international our sport is too. Like
Yeah.
when we talk about cricket is huge in India. It's huge in like Britain, in parts of the world like that. But then when we talk like American football, which is going on right
Yes.
now, huge in
Yes.
America and
Yes.
in Canada and some parts of Europe, but not worldwide. Like a lot of sports aren't global, but
Yes.
powerlifting is truly global.
Yes.
Everywhere in the world, strength, everyone identifies with strength. You know, everyone's fascinated by someone who's strong. It's very
Yes.
easy to articulate why this sport, like this is a strength sport. It's whoever's strongest wins. Boom,
Yes.
easy enough. We all get that.
Yes. Yes.
Everyone gets it, and people get fascinated, and people get like inspired by someone who's really really strong, because you don't
Yes.
have to get it. Like cricket, someone might not over here understand the rules of cricket. Over there, someone might not understand American football. But do you understand this? That man is the strongest man in the world, and is, you know, or this is the weight class, and he's the
Yeah.
world champion.
Earlier, I used to watch Mark Ripto also. He used to say that stronger people are more useful, generally more useful and hard to kill.
Yeah, and hard to
I
kill.
was,
And that's true. They are generally more useful and harder to kill, which is true. If you have a strong person around, yeah.
so like watching combat sport or following the strength sport or looking a certain way, it was not my cup of tea. I was never used to look at all those things, but when we put our mind to something and are ready to put in the efforts, I still don't have any kind of emotional attachment to the weight I am lifting, or by getting number of views and followers I am getting. But I do know that it is very basic thing to get to know to any person, that you don't have to be genetically blessed to pursue something. If it lights that fire inside you, just keep giving it that air it needs,
Mm.
and let's see where it goes.
Yeah, you got to fall in love with the process, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, for most of us, we're not going to be one percenters. But if you focus just on that, like so few people are going to be one percenters. But even like Michael Jordan said, he's like, you think you want to be me until you are me, and you realize how obsessed over the top I am with this. And most times not even fun. Like it's just like a relief when I win now, where he's like, yeah, so people don't realize like those moments you have on the way up, those are the moments when you're in the gym for 5 hours, just chilling, making funny videos with your friends. And like, those are the moments. And when you show up at worlds, like whatever happens, like it's not, the platform's big, but everything leading up to it and afterwards and hanging out. And like, those are the moments, man. Like,
Like you were getting that same surge of serotonin, I guess, when we were celebrating over here.
right.
Like you felt that you were with us. So I also follow Simon Sinek, Power of Why. Know your why. So you have to dive deep inside your heart to find out what's your purpose is. And Tom Believe is also putting out some good content, like philosophically, and how to act upon it. So you might have known all these people also.
You know, I follow some in terms of that, like, well, like obviously I do a lot of Joe Rogan. He's not really philosophy, but he has philosophers on there. He has a lot of people that come on there and they go in deep, right? And also there's a guy named Firas Zahabi. He's like an MMA coach, like George St. Pierre's coach, but he's also went to university for philosophy by chance. So he has a podcast that he talks about martial arts, but also philosophy at the same time. And he goes deep into a lot of things as well. It's weird how some of these martial artists are into philosophy.
So, like most of the time, what you do, think, or even you eat is what your philosophy is. So the whole person has its all aura around what the way he thinks or what he put inside this 2.5 kg.
You you are what you consume, right?
Yeah, yes, that's
Exactly.
what is called as ahar. That's what's the name of my clinic. The things you ingest or consume, like through your eyes, through your thought process, through your mouth, the kind of air you breathe, the kind of things you see, the kind of thoughts you put in your head. That is called as aharati, ahar in Sanskrit. That's what the name of my clinic.
When you were all said and done, because you got a lot more to go, but let's say you're an old lady looking back at all of this journey and everything you might have accomplished and everything you might have all the sights you might have seen. How do you want to be remembered?
It's a deep one.
Yeah, that's a tough question.
So the whole journey started with that is what we call as in Ayurveda, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. These are the 4 things one should attain when he or she comes as a human being on this earth. So we are the only ones who can think, process it, and act on it voluntarily. We are not dependent wholeheartedly on our basic instincts for living. We have emotions, we think about purpose, we think about fulfillment. So dharma is your we can say inner passion, innermost, which with which you tend to forget yourself. Like you dive deep into it and you forget your existence. It's dharma. Artha is being economically and physical things sound, like prosperous, wealthy. Kama is having love, life filled with love, and having best next generation, which is better than you. So you're going to leave that legacy or that thought process to your next generation, whether it be your kids or the kids of others. And moksha is that final enlightenment. So one has to go through all these 4 stages if you want to live a fulfilled life. So if you are poor and you are talking about money is shit and it does nothing to you, or you're very prosperous and you are doing nothing for your society, or the worst fear of any parent that our kid will go over out of hand and he'll consumed by all the wrong things in the world. So not everything you can control, but there are things you can pursue and control and do something about. So I want to be remembered as a person who took control of the things she can do and never worried about the things which were out of control. So I want to live my kids up to the like they should be called as what the ultimate meaning of karma is, better next generation. So
Wow.
that's it, I guess.
I mean, considering your son just passed the test, that with what you said earlier.
But I want him to exercise regularly and put in the good thoughts and eat good food.
It's not enough. The test wasn't enough. He's got to squat 250 kilo.
No, not like that. Squatting is not the only form of exercise one can do. Right. And he enjoys exercising also, but for preparing for his exams, he used to study like day and night. I guess I was the only mother who used to tell him that now stop studying, go out and play for some time, get some fresh air.
Well, I think if the stakes were that high, where if he doesn't get in, it's like 100 and whatever thousand US, yeah, I'd be scared too. I'd be, I'd be scared too. Like, oh my God. How does, usually that's my last question, but I have actually one more question actually. How
Okay.
does your family feel about like how all of this is taken off? You know, your son, I look at, my mom was like a nurse, you know, a regular mom, but
Wow.
I don't know how it would be if my mom was like on like winning national titles, you know, while I was still like in high school. She's like in the open winning that international titles and like on TV and like doing like having these videos with like millions of views and like going into my dances and no one thinks she's my mom. They think she's my sister. Like, how is all this impacting your family? Are they like, wow, this is crazy?
So, like my sons are used to me being not a regular mom.
Okay.
So we were studying all at once because I was preparing for my post graduation MD exam, and they were studying for their kindergarten final year exams. So I guess I was growing up with them. Um, like I was a very young mom, so I am their friend, I guess, and she is like that. So should I call him? Like he
No,
went out.
it's okay. No, I was gonna ask you, so they do exams in kindergarten?
Yeah, we have very hardcore study schedule in India. Like being brainy and being at the top of the class is admired a lot. Like do study hard, get good grades, then get a good job and be settled is the mantra for any Indian family. And when somebody wants to put that all that effort into the field of like for say powerlifting, so many people went crazy in my like secondary family. What
Yeah.
is she doing? Is she shutting down her practice for learning and going to sit in the class again at the age of 35? Because already taking education for being a doctor is too long in any part of the world,
Right.
and you get that much time to become economically independent. So we don't talk about finances or all other things into families, like quote unquote families, but we both are like, me and my husband are open with our kids. We read them Rich Dad Poor Dad but Robert Kiyosaki when they were very young. So like we are all friends, I guess. That's what I think. I don't know what goes on into his head.
I mean, it would
Or
be,
the younger one is very enthusiastic and not even in the family. He has got all that sports genetics in him, but he has not found his calling yet, and I'm waiting for that.
well, I mean, when he's got a mom like you, I'm sure whatever, when he chooses something, he's going all in and sky's the limit. I mean,
Yeah.
because here's the thing, if you see your mom become a doctor and then in the gym for like 5 hours, you know, and doing everything and then on national TV and doing all these things, like, yeah, you're going to believe anything's possible. You know what I mean? Like for real, you will believe anything's possible. You're going to be like, yes, whatever crazy idea I have, I could probably see it through as long as I work hard, as long
We
as I
all we
super
be
work hard.
blessed, and I'm happy you are saying all those things.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. I call it like I see it. But listen, I appreciate that you came on the podcast. I know you took the morning off for this. So
No, no, no. It's all my pleasure. You don't know how big of a deal it is for us.
really,
Like
well, look, I appreciate that.
so not many of my followers understand English, but some of them do, and they are going to be blown by this.
Is that right? Seriously? I mean, I'm glad to hear it. I mean, it's a great story, and it's something that a lot of people probably haven't heard before in terms of and people just don't realize like what it's like over there in India and how powerlifting has changed your life and opened up so many doors for you in terms of health, in terms of fitness, and in terms of getting the, you know, your voice out there, and then how India has responded to you with all of these opportunities to be on television shows and radio shows and all the rest of it. Um, and how your community has responded. It's crazy. I mean, I've never seen anything like it, and it's amazing. I think if we all had that, it'd be amazing in all of our different countries. So it's great to see, and I'm glad you came on. And yeah, hopefully one of these.
We invite you to visit to our hometown. Like, come and do
India?
workout with us someday.
That'd be crazy.
We'd
love
to have you.
We'll do it. We got to figure it out, right?
Yes,
I've never been to India. I got to come. At some point, because I've seen how you guys do your thing, and it looks amazing.
Thank you.
It looks absolutely amazing. Maybe I'll come for an event or something. I'll time it.
Oh, okay.
For like one of the
plan something in near future.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm coming to meet you.
There it is. At the World Championships or something. We'll make it happen.
Yes, sir.
Much appreciated. If anybody wants to get a hold of you, like, how do they follow you on social media? How do they find you on any of your platforms?
So I'm on Facebook by the page Dr.Sharvari Inamdar. On Instagram, DrSharvari, and there is another account if you want all the health stuff like health, exercise, nutrition, Ayurved stuff. It's Ahar Ayurved, and it's on YouTube as Dr.Sharvari Inamdar.
And I will share all those for anyone listening on the posts. I'll tag them all so you guys can find it. Thank you very much for coming on the podcast. Much appreciated. We're going to keep in touch.
Thank you for having me.
See you.